Hello and welcome to the latest edition of In Touch, Scottish Rugby's magazine programme. In this edition we'll talk to the new head of women's rugby, Sheila Begbie. We'll look ahead to the autumn test series with national head coach Vern Cotter. But first, Chris Paterson charts the progress of Edinburgh and Glasgow in the Guinness Pro 12.
I think they'll be disappointed. You know, it's to win, it could have been worse, let's be honest. To get that fantastic win away in Munster early on was great, but then, you know, losing at home the following week was a disappointment. Of course, it was a narrow game, and Cotter are a good side. I watched Glasgow through Scotland last weekend, and they're a tough team to break down, and they then went on to beat Leinster the following week, so they're a good side. But anyone you play at home, you really want to win your home games, and Edinburgh will be disappointed at that. They will be. A big defeat in Swansea was hugely disappointing again, but what was good to see against Scarlets here on Friday was the change, not a change in attitude, they're just much more abrasive, harder edge that stopped a good Scarlets team getting away from them, and then the courage to come back from losing a try after 36 seconds and being up against it in the first half, if we're honest, to fight out and to gain a draw and narrowly missing the opportunity. It was a long kick from Tom at the end. It was probably, I don't know if you mind me saying this, it's probably almost outside his range, but you've got to take it on the last kick of the ball. He struck it well and just agonisingly shot. So they'll be disappointed overall, but early season, 4 games in, they'll know much more now what they need to work on, what they have to improve, and hopefully they can do that moving forward.
Glasgow with a win against Leinster, and they've carried on. They've had three wins after that game. They've had Cardiff, Newport, and the latest win against Cotter. What are they doing right? What's going right for Glasgow?
They're continuing from last year with added benefits to their game and added attacking structures and added different bits and pieces. Tough start, beating Leinster at home, then playing 2 games on the road in Wales and winning both of them, which is fantastic. I think the Glasgow guys will be happy with the results, but there's still parts of the game they'll want to work on. You know, to get a bonus point away in Newport, you know, down to 14 men for most of the second half, is a huge result. But there's inaccuracies that they'll want to iron out. And as I already said, the ground down Cotter on Friday night in a windy Scotland, which was another fantastic result. But there's elements of the game they'll want to improve. So I think that the stage that Glasgow are at tells you, or the results and their mindset tells you what stage they're at. They are 4 from 4. They've won bonus points in their games, not all of them, but they want to improve in the C areas they need to improve in. They travel to the bottom side, Treviso, this weekend, and Treviso, although they've suffered heavy defeats away from home, are a completely different kettle of fish at home. They're a hard team to break down out there, and hopefully Glasgow can go and continue the winning game.
I think it is a great boost, you know, to have such excellent quality of facilities, not only the pitch outside but also the rehab centre as well, and the quality of the equipment that we've got within the centre. So I think for a player it must be so motivational to walk into somewhere like this, and having this kind of facility serve as part of delivering their aspiration as a player for the future. I think the whole integration bit for us is really key in terms of how we move the agenda for women and girls on. But I think it's a great statement from SRU that, you know, this Academies programme is for women as well as it is for men in the game. So I think that the future is really bright in terms of the number of opportunities that we'll be able to give to our most talented players, because reality is we need to give our talented female rugby players more opportunities, much more quality opportunities. So this network of academies will allow us to do that. For me, I think I've been really impressed by the organisation, and certainly everybody I've met within the organisation has this real desire to move the women and girls agenda on, and everybody has this real desire to play their part in shaping and making a difference for women and girls rugby in Scotland, and that is from the chief executive and the board all the way through to everybody within the offices. So for me, that hunger and that desire was really impressive, and since I've come into the organisation, I think the support that we've had and the kind of things that we're talking about in the future for women and girls rugby will have a major impact on the game. if we can develop the performance structures, get much better performances on the pitch and get some success, then that would be really fantastic for the women's game in Scotland. Definitely we'll see some results and some progress over the next few years, but the major progress for us won't really happen until it's maybe 7 or 8 years down the line, because that's the kind of cycle that it will need for us to actually develop structures and to develop people, etc. So we will have some short-term goals where, we'll get some quick wins and some quick successes, but really for us it's really looking at a major to long-term plan in terms of the women and girls game. And I think that through the regional academies network, and if we can create perhaps a national academy for women where we've got potentially 18 players that are training full-time, that are actually got their sports science programmes bolted on, but they're studying, so we're actually hot-housing our most talented players. I think to have 18 people that can be our agents for change, so that when they go back to their clubs, and in the clubs they're seeing, positive lifestyle, looking at how they're training, how they're hydrating, how they're actually working. I think that could also have a positive effect on the club game as well in Scotland. So for me, I think it's really an exciting time, and as I say, it is really about trying to create some good, strong partnerships over the next little while to make sure that we can make an impact on the game at all different levels.
A lot of Tongan players are playing NPC in New Zealand at the moment. We know how big and explosive they are. There's a number of them playing in Europe as well, and various professional clubs. They'll come together obviously just before the November test, whereas Argentina are playing. They've been playing since we played them last in June. They're playing against the best teams in the world, and you can see the improvement in their game individually and collectively. So they'll be really tough, and it's good to be able to play against top teams. Argentina are benefiting from the Four Nations. We'll benefit from playing against them that are improved, and the All Blacks, which are the #1 team in the world. Afterwards, Tonga are another challenge. They're rough, abrasive, hard ball carriers. And we'll probably play differently against them, and we're playing on an artificial pitch, which in itself will be exciting, and we're moving the game away from Murrayfield. So 3 different opposition, 3 different challenges, but every one of those challenges will help us improve and move forward for the Six Nations and for the World Cup.
And you can see the passion with Tonga. One of the best nights at the World Cup in New Zealand was when they beat France. And that I wonder if that was a kind of spur for Tonga. I mean, obviously they beat Scotland in Pittodrie as well, but that result against France, and they never seem to have looked back since that game.
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, every team 1 year from the World Cup, we're looking to put in good performances. They're trying to create a little bit of confidence, get momentum, develop things, so that they'll be competitive in a year's time. So we know that they'll be taking the game against us seriously, and obviously they've created upsets before. So, and coming off the All Black test, I think it'll be a real challenge for us mentally to be able to shift from Murrayfield and shift and prepare for a game after getting up for the All Blacks. It'll be great for us. I think it'll be important.
Given that Argentina have just come through the tournament with Australia and South Africa and New Zealand, what do you think their mindset will be? Because that's been a tough campaign for them. Will it be start again, breathe and start again, or do you think they'll look to take the momentum on from the tournament?
No, they'll take momentum. They'll want to, because they haven't won a game up till now, so they'll be very, very keen to get wins on this November test period. So they'll be looking at us. They'll be looking to make amends for the game, and we tipped them over there a few months ago. They'll be wanting to change the scoreline in their favour, and they'll be keen to develop, take what they've learned from the Four Nations, put it into practice against teams that perhaps aren't ranked quite as highly, and get victories. So we're looking forward to a real big challenge. The players will know they'll have to be up for it. The 2 games, Argentina, All Blacks, are going to be 2 massive games, and we'll obviously, if the place is humming and it's full and it's pushing the boys along, and if we can get up and surprise Argentina and New Zealand, hopefully we'll create some very positive support and it'll have follow-on effect for the game against Tonga. So we're really looking forward to fronting the best teams in the world with a full house, everyone cheering, and we'll have a go.
That's all for this edition of In Touch. We'll be back with a clubs edition next week, which catches up with all the latest action from the BT Premiership, and will feature a report on Dumfries and their successful start to the season.